Tired of long-term commitment plans? Then Appalachian Wireless has the new plans for you. No credit checks, no contracts, and most of the features are postpaid. It's forward pay, the simpler way to do wireless on the region's premier cellular provider. And it starts as low as $19.99 a month with unlimited talk and text. We are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
I got a question for you. Who's your go-to guy? A mechanic that'll do quality work at a fair price. Let me suggest Dawgs Off-Road. DAWGS on Fish Trap Road. They'll do mechanic work on autos, side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, including oil changes, brake, motor and transmission work. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. They can tackle just about any of your mechanical needs, and they won't hack their leg on you. That's Dawgs Off-Road, DAWGS, 415 Fish Trap Road at Shelbyana. Call them at 606-794-7876 or look them up on Facebook.
Welcome to Kentucky's premier Harley-Davidson dealer, Mineshaft Harley-Davidson, the only family-owned and operated Harley dealership in Kentucky. We feature a great selection of new and pre-owned bikes in stock now. We're a full-service dealership offering a wide selection of parts, accessories, and genuine Harley-Davidson motor clothes. Mineshaft has a friendly staff with years of experience to help you with whatever you're looking for. Make sure and check out the 120th anniversary collection at Mineshaft Harley-Davidson, 114 Harley Drive in Pikeville, now open 7 days a week. Visit us online at mineshafthd.com or call 606-433-0911.
Have fun.
Let's get those girls sit down.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to welcome everybody to the political stunt speeches for the 46th Annual Hillbilly Days Celebration. Thank you all so much for being here and braving the weather. We have some candidates coming up here in a little bit. Before we get started, I'd like to thank some people. Do you hear me a little bit? Okay, let's see if I can raise this up a little bit. I'm a taller fella here.
Hello.
All right. I'd like to thank some people. I'd like to thank everyone at the Judge Executive's office, our county commissioners, and everyone that worked to put this event on. It takes a lot of effort and planning to make this happen. It's a lot of hard work, and we are very grateful for their efforts. All right, I got some help out there directing me with my microphone etiquette here. Thank you so much. All right. I'd also like to recognize the co-sponsors of this event, the Pike County Democratic Women and the Pike County Republican Women's Club. We actually have some representatives here that are going to act as our official timekeepers. I'll introduce them by name here in a little bit when we get started, but we thank them for their help as well. I'd like to honor our distinguished guest. I hear Governor Paul Patton is here. I see him right over here. Thank you so much. No other man has probably done more to help this region, the Eastern Kentucky, than for any other elected official than Governor Paul Patton. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Well, I know we've been kind of pushed back a little later, trying to dodge the weather a little bit, so let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome Pastor John Lucas from the First Baptist Church of Pikeville to deliver our invocation.
Good morning. What a joy it is to be with you today on our beloved University of Pikeville's. At the bottom of the 99 is one of my favorite verses. Psalm 121 says, I lift my eyes to the hills, from where cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, the creator of heavens and earth. I think that's a great verse to kick us off this morning. May I invite you to bow your heads with me as we pray for all those who are going to be speaking to you today about the importance of our civic government and where we go for our future. Let's pray. Father, what a joy it is to be here gathered with so many friends from around our area and around our region. We recognize the great benefit of having this festival each year. We know from a few years ago what it's like to not have this and the separation that meant. Thank you for all it means for our city. Thank you for all it means for our community. And Father, thank you for moments like this where we get to hear from those who want to lead better, those who have visions for what the future might hold. We recognize we don't all agree on every point, but listening, showing charity, and being open to the ideas for the future is how we get better as a people. And so I pray that you would bless this time. I pray that it would be a fruitful time. Thank you for all those that are gathered here today. I pray that this is a wonderful time of joy. We ask it in Jesus, your name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. That was lovely. All right, next I'd like to invite Daryl Fannin, who is a Vietnam War veteran, served in the Navy on the USS Ranger, to deliver our Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, everyone. If you would, please stand and join with me in pledging allegiance to the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. All right. Next, we have a special treat for you. We have Blair Thompson from Pike Central High School here to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. That was moving. We really appreciate it. All right, well, we're ready to get to the speeches. The way we're going to organize this, every candidate's going to get 5 minutes to speak, and we're going to try to do this as fairly as we can. We're going to go by office, and then within the offices, we're going to go alphabetically. We have our official timekeepers over here that'll keep everybody lined out as best they can. We've got Jennifer Bevins right there. You can wave, good. And Marie Childers right there, great. They're going to get 5 minutes, I'm told, so that's great. All right, so we will start now. with our candidate for President of the United States. Robert Quigley is running as an independent. He's an American candidate running for President in 2024. He was born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky, and graduated from Henry Clay High School. He trained as a lawyer, earning 3 law degrees from the University of Cambridge, Miami, and London. He and his wife of 30 years owned and operated a dozen small businesses. He lived and worked in East Asia, Europe, and he and his wife is currently a leather worker, a leather crafter, sorry. Quigley built his DC home, worked on Wall Street, and is a hiker and outdoors enthusiast. Please make welcome Robert Quigley, independent candidate for president.
Folks, we are making history. Robert Quigley, the hometown guy, is going to take the White House in 2024, and we are going to make America work for everybody. As you've heard, I've traveled the world. I spent 10 years living in Asia. We know all about the good points and the bad points of manufacturing. We are going to bring back all of those jobs, all of those factories that our forefathers sent overseas. They're coming back to Kentucky, they're coming back to America. I'm going to make it happen. My family, guys, comes from Kentucky. They've been in this state for 300 years. When Daniel Boone came to this state, my family was with Daniel Boone. Lexington is my hometown. I'll share a funny story with you. A decade ago, I signed up with Ancestry.com. You know, you did the whole blood test, the mouth swab, they tell you your DNA history. I got an email from these guys about a week ago, and current technology tells me I've got 1.35 million cousins in eastern Kentucky. So you look around, there's a good chance that a couple of you people are my DNA relatives. Might be 5th or 6th cousins, but hey, who's counting? Let me share a little bit of history with you guys. Kentucky has produced the most critical presidents in the history of our country. Let's do a quick rundown. Abraham Lincoln. He pulled the country together. We all know about Abraham Lincoln. Well, we also know, of course, the one and only president from the South, Jefferson Davis. We won't talk about him too much. But we also have Zachary Taylor. We all know about Zachary Taylor. He was raised in Louisville. He's buried in Louisville. What those 3 presidents tell us is when America is at a turning point, Kentucky produces the leaders. And to that list, I'm going to add Henry Clay, because Henry Clay teaches us a very important lesson. He ran for president 5 times. He didn't make it, but he gives us the Kentucky motto. As long as we live, we don't give up. We keep fighting. And that's what we're doing, folks. Now, the next question is, why am I running as an independent? Well, the country is in the midst of a change. 75 million millennials, 18 to 30 years old, the vast majority of these people do not support the Democrat or the Republicans. Those 2 parties have become extreme to the extremist. We have problems that are going unsolved decade after decade. We need solutions to these problems. Recent polling tells us that Biden's going to take the Democratic nomination, Trump's going to take the Republican nomination. It's going to come down to those 2 and me. But 75% of the country does not want to vote for either Trump or Biden. This is the first time since George Washington that an independent's going to take the White House. We've had 26 people try since then, and 2024 is going to be the year that we do it. Now let me just give you a couple of quick campaign points, just to give you an idea of where we're going to take the country. First thing we're going to deal with, we are going to tackle global warming. We have a 40 or 50 year transition period before we can even get to a green economy. That means in the meantime, we need coal, we need fossil fuels. It has to be managed properly. That's going to be a big part of the platform. We're going to reform health care. We are going to create millions upon millions of new business owners across the country. How are we going to do that? We're going to tweak the SBA. We're going to make it easier for you to get that loan to start your new business. We're going to make it easy for first-time homeowners to buy their first house. And we're going to tweak the FHA to do that. We're going to reform education. And then, of course, I've worked on and off Wall Street in my life, amongst the many other things that I've done. And I can tell you one reason why we have inflation is because of speculation on Wall Street. So we're going to reform that. We're going to bring the price structure down. So everything I've just said is pretty much the campaign in a nutshell. I need everyone in this audience to help out. I need your vote. I need you to talk to every person you have met in life. Tell them about Robert Quigley, the hometown kid. Send them to our website, robertquigleyforpresident.com, and together we will make America better for everybody.
So much. All right, next up we have Republican candidate for governor, Jacob Clark. Jacob Clark is a minister, a husband of 22 years, a father of 3 great children. He is an inventor and he built a thriving business from his inventions. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Jacob Clark, Republican candidate for governor. Thanks, sir.
Good morning. It's great to be in Pike County. When I was younger, I was in bluegrass bands, played mandolin, banjo, guitar. We sang some songs about Pike County, about the historic Pikeville flood. And there's a few songs about the Hatfields and McCoys too, but I won't get into that. I don't know which side some of you guys are on there. So, but yeah, I'm running for governor. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm running on the Republican ticket. And I look and see what is going on in the country that I love. And it makes me sad, you know, over the last couple of decades, but especially over the last 3 years, we have seen tyrants across the nation take their will on the American people and our freedom, and not much has been done about it. And, you know, as an inventor, I'm an idea man. You know, I see a problem and I come up with a solution. And many times the best solution is the easiest solution. You know, we don't always need a big government program to come along and save us. Sometimes the easiest solution is just to cut all the red tape and let the free market and let the people decide and save themselves. So I think the solution that America needs today is to get back to the Constitution. Get back to our founding principles of liberty and free market capitalism, not communism, not equity, not these things that are creeping in and trying to steal our liberty, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So some things that I want to do, you know, I've seen some school districts in Kentucky have wanted metal detectors for over 10 years and haven't been able to get them. And with the recent outbreaks of violence and different types of shootings and things, I'm going to prioritize metal detectors in our schools in Kentucky and safe entrances on sides and things like that. You know, there are metal detectors in the Capitol building in Frankfurt, and I'll walk in and say, I'm carrying my pistol, and they say, oh, just walk around them and go on in. They're not even really being used. And that to me, that's a great illustration of how well government functions. You know, so I want to cut a lot of red tape. There's things that have been done, federal regulations that killed our coal industry in Kentucky, sent it to Wyoming, you know, decimated a large portion of Kentucky's industry and prosperity. And this is big government. This is Washington, D.C. Ruling from the top down. And that's not the way our country was founded. We were founded from the bottom up. You know, your sheriff, your judge executive, your local government are supposed to be the most influential in your lives. If we go back to our founding principles, we can remedy these things. So as governor, I'm the only one talking about, you know, kicking the door down in January and demanding liberty, demanding to set Kentucky free from Washington, D.C. in January of 2024. A governor can issue what's called an executive order, and that's become a scary word for a lot of people because Andy Beshear thinks he can create laws with them, but that's not how an executive order works. An executive order is looking at a law that's already been created and saying, are we going to enforce this law? And if so, how are we going to enforce it? What resources are we going to use? To what degree are we going to enforce it? So first thing I would do is look at all these ridiculous regulations on our coal industry and say we will not comply. So I will be eliminating those and let Kentucky be the coal energy superpower that it's meant to be. And I know that's a sensitive issue for you folks here, but other things that I would do is eliminate enforcement of gun laws in Kentucky in January of 2024. We have the Second Amendment. That's the only gun law we were ever meant to have, is the Second Amendment telling you that government never has the authority to regulate your ability to defend yourself and your family and your property from people who don't obey laws anyway, and from tyrants. So, I would not enforce gun laws in Kentucky. And folks say, man, that's crazy. People don't think that can happen. But if you look, there are counties all across the nation that are doing just that today. They have said, no, we will not enforce these laws in this county. So I would make Kentucky a Second Amendment sanctuary state. Thank you.
So much. All right. Next up is David O. Cooper. He was unable to be here today because of another commitment, but he asked us to read a statement on his behalf. Pike County residents and other Kentucky residents who come to enjoy Hillbilly Days, I apologize for not being able to come enjoy the long-standing tradition to celebrate Hillbilly Days with you. I'm on a military duty on the weekend teaching our great Kentucky soldiers how to stay sharp, accurate, and focused to help them qualify with ease with their weapon. May God bless all of you in our Commonwealth. All right, that was a statement from David O. Cooper. All right, our next speaker that's here, y'all are getting numb on me, right? Y'all are hanging in there, okay? Good. All right. Next up is Kelly Craft, Republican candidate for governor. Kelly Craft is a Republican candidate running for governor. She is a true native Kentuckian. She was born in Lexington and raised in Glasgow. As a proud graduate of the University of Kentucky. After many years leading a successful business, Kelly embarked on a new mission when she was appointed as the first female ambassador to Canada. Kelly was then named U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations under President Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Kelly Craft, Republican candidate for governor.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. What a great day to be at Hillbilly Days. It feels awesome, especially to know that this is helping Shriners Hospital. So my name is Kelly Craft. I was raised in Barron County on a farm. My father was a veterinarian, a farmer, and a proud veteran. My mom was a home economics teacher. My husband, Joe Craft, who's here with me today, is a Perry County boy. He's from Hazard, and there is no one who loves and has a passion for the mountains like Joe and Kelly Craft. This economy has been under attack from the Biden-Bashir administration. And I can tell you, from serving under President Donald Trump, there was not a more fierce fighter for Eastern Kentucky for the coal industry than President Trump. And under Governor Craft, we have created thousands of jobs in the state of Kentucky in the coal industry. And I can tell you that here in Pike County, I am the only gubernatorial candidate that has not just created one job, but we have 300 families that are direct with our Excel Mining, our longest running coal mine in East Kentucky. And I think our dear friend, Governor Patton, is here with us. So thank you so much for being here. And I am proud to say that I will be the next governor, the only next governor that fights and has such deep, deep roots in East Kentucky, and you have really led the way. So thank you so much, Governor Patton. And I was going by the coal building at U-Pike, and I just want to give you a little story about Governor Patton and the coal building. He reached out to Joe Craft, and he said, I really want to have a building at U-Pike, and I know that you and Joe care about education in Kentucky. And Joe said, well, Governor, as long as we name it after the coal industry, then I'm okay with helping to fund this building. So thank you so much for allowing us that opportunity. What I care about are the ratepayers. And let me just tell you why that's important. East Kentucky has the highest utility rates in our state, and that is not okay. We need to make certain that we do everything in our power to keep our coal plants up and running. We can't have what happened in 2015 with Big Sandy under former Governor Steve Beshear. And we certainly cannot allow the Biden, Beshear, and our Attorney General to have a premature closure of the Mitchell plant. And why is that? The Mitchell plant services 165,000 Kentuckians in East Kentucky. Not only that, the economic viability of the Mitchell plant in East Kentucky is allowing us to have low-cost energy, to attract industry, to make certain that we continue to build upon our local infrastructure. That's what's important. You will never have a family, you will never have a governor that will fight harder to make certain that we keep our Kentucky jobs in Kentucky, that we make certain that our ratepayers have the lowest possible rates in the United States. That's how we're going to be able to attract jobs for East Kentucky, good paying jobs. I'm not a politician. I've never run for office. I served under one of the greatest presidents who loves the state of Kentucky. He loves our coal miners. I'm not using this office to be elected to another office. I see a job that needs to be done. I'm a results-driven leader. I'm not owned by any special interest, and you will not see the Washington establishment in my office for governor. And I can promise you, this Barron County girl and this Perry County boy will fight every single day for the mountains of East Kentucky. Thank you so much.
So much. That concludes our candidates for governor. Also running for governor, our Democratic candidates Andy Beshear, who's not able to be here for a scheduling conflict, Democrat Pepe Martin and Jeffrey M. Scott, Democrat, and Republicans, Daniel Cameron, Eric Dieters, Bob DeVore, Mike Harmon, Alan Keck, Dennis Ray Ormerod, Johnny Ray Rice, Robbie C. Smith, and Ryan F. Quarles. All right. We do not have a candidate for Attorney General, which have been Russell Coleman or Pamela Stevens. They are not here today. All right. Candidates for Secretary of State were unable to attend today. Michael Adams, Stephen Nipper, Alan Miracle, and Charles Wheatley. Candidate for Audit of Public Accounts, Allison Ball was unable to attend. Derek Leonard Petties, Kimberly Reeder. All right, that moves us on to candidates for state treasurer. We do have two of those here. All right, we're going to start with Michael Bowman. He's a Democrat running for state treasurer. He is a sixth-generation Kentuckian and raised in a union home in the Valley Station neighborhood in Louisville. Michael learned the value of hard work and the importance of looking out for his community as an aide to the Louisville Metro Council, as a former bank officer, and as official in Governor Beshear's administration. Please make welcome Michael Bowen, Democratic candidate for state treasurer.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be in Pike County in eastern Kentucky today. I am Michael Bowman, lifelong Kentuckian, raised in a union family. I spent a decade in local government before becoming a bank officer for one of the largest banks in the country. After which I worked in Governor Beshear's administration, spearheading workforce development across the Commonwealth. When elected, I will be the first treasurer in nearly 40 years that has any professional training in finance, something I think we all can agree is something we should have in our treasurer's office. We have a problem in Kentucky. where we have a careless legislature that has consistently eroded trust in our government and has done everything but throw out the kitchen sink to hide and keep in the dark what they're doing. Attacking hardworking Kentuckians with policies that hurt people and make it impossible to get ahead. Never before in the history of the Commonwealth have we had such disregard for accountability. The people of Kentucky deserve better. We have a treasurer who stood silent while your tax dollars were sent to for-profit companies for the promise of jobs, but no transparency on how those tax dollars are being spent. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to bring back some accountability and transparency to the treasurer's office. It's time to tell our leaders in the Capitol that enough is enough. No more broken promises to make Kentucky a better place. As your treasurer, you have my commitment to advocate and work hard day in and day out for each and every one of you, protecting your interests and accounting for your tax dollars. I'm asking for your vote, your support, and looking forward to serving the great people of this Commonwealth as your next state treasurer. I encourage all of you all to please visit my website, bowmanforkentucky.com, learn about me, about what I can bring to the treasurer's office, and what we can do together to move Kentucky forward. Thank you all.
Next up, candidate for state treasurer is Andrew Cooper-Ryder. Serving for state treasurer at the May 2023 election. Andrew and his wife Kara reside in Lexington with their 11-year-old son Leo and their dog Luna. They attend New Life Baptist Church in Lexington. He is a coffee shop owner in Lexington. Please make welcome Andrew Cooper-Ryder, candidate for state treasurer.
Well, how y'all doing? My name is Andrew Cooper-Ryder. I'm a Republican candidate for Kentucky State Treasurer. I'm a Christian, a family man, and a small business owner. Some of you all may remember me from one of my businesses, Brewed, a coffee shop in Lexington that refused to shut down in the face of the governor's mandates. My wife and I founded our first company with just $3,000. Today, that company employs dozens of Kentuckians. Now, I didn't set out in life with a goal to be in politics, but in November 2020, I found myself forced onto the front line of a battle. You see, government bureaucrats came in and told my family that if we didn't lose everything and serve another cup of coffee, they would throw us in jail. And on that day, I turned to my wife and I said, honey, something no wife ever wants to hear, honey, can I go to jail today? And she said, sure, I could use some alone time. No, I'm kidding. She said, you do whatever's right. So we stayed open. And it's because of the work that we did together as a state that stood together against the overreach into our everyday lives, the kind of rules that said strip clubs and casinos and abortion clinics could remain open, but your mom and pop shops had to shut down. And because we stood together, Kentucky had a great victory, for Kentucky was the only state in the nation that was shut down for indoor dining for Thanksgiving, but was reopened for indoor dining before Christmas. Today, we find ourselves on the front line of a new battle, a battle over the very foundation of our Commonwealth, faith, family, and freedom. And every day, our state is spending millions of our tax dollars fighting against us. We have the saddest generation of children in our nation's history, some of the highest suicide rates. What we're doing isn't working. And what we're doing is we're spending your money to push forward social, liberal ideas that are destroying our children and our youth. Thank you. Also, while at the same time, we're not holding people accountable. This year, another $10 million embezzlement happened out of our pension system that came to light. And the reason why this person wasn't immediately prosecuted was because they had too many political connections in Frankfurt, according to the whistleblower lawsuit. That is unacceptable, and people need to be held accountable again. When you do wrong, you should have to pay for it, and that's why these things keep happening. So may I ask that you vote for me if you're Republican, and then in November, if you're a Democrat, please vote for me too. But may I ask that you vote for me. I'm a business owner who's actually managed a payroll, who's actually had to sign the front of checks before, that doesn't just know how to solve problems by spending more of your money, but somebody who's had to learn how to work within our means to get done what we need to get accomplished. I believe it's incredibly important We don't just have theoretical experience in the Treasurer's office, but common sense and competence. Common sense and competence that tells us that government can't solve all our problems. Because government cannot replace a community, government cannot replace a parent, and government cannot replace God, no matter how much money we spend on it. And it's time that we elect some people who can sit there and say, some things aren't the job of government to fix. Something you all here in Eastern Kentucky understand very specifically, because in 1990, our federal government destroyed our coal industry with the 1990 Clean Air Act, creating the coal severance fund that then politicians, instead of investing it into the infrastructure and futures of Eastern Kentucky, wasted it on pet projects. It's time to grab back control of our lives. So please, in May, if you're a Republican, vote for me in the primary, and then in November, if you're not a Republican, still vote for me. And let's get back to what our Commonwealth was founded on together, our basic principles of freedom, of faith, of liberty, and of family. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Andrew. All right, that's the end of the candidates for state treasurer that are here. Also running is Mark Metcalf and OC OJ Oleka. All right, that moves us on to candidates for Commissioner of Agriculture. All right, next up is Sierra J. Enlow, Democrat running for Commissioner of Agriculture. She grew up working a tobacco patch at the 5th generation farm in LaRue County, where her family taught her the value of agriculture in Kentucky. Though Sierra's time in LaRue County Public Schools, she was deeply involved in extracurriculars such as FFA, speech and debate, community activities that include 4-H Livestock Club, and volunteering at the LaRue County Pork Producers Association. Sierra attended the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture. We received undergraduate degrees in community leadership and development and agriculture economics. Sierra completed her master's degree in agriculture economics in 2012, also at the University of Kentucky. Sierra now serves as an economic development consultant to communities and companies as they evaluate opportunities to grow and expand. Sierra has worked extensively in both the private and public sides of economic development to create strategies supporting companies, redevelopment projects, and new commercial opportunities. She also serves on the board of directors of Kentucky Association for Economic Development. Please make welcome Sarah Enlow, Democratic candidate for Commissioner of Agriculture.
Thank you, Pike County, for inviting me to be here today. My name is Sierra Enlow, and I'm running to be your next Commissioner of Agriculture. Since my early days setting tobacco on our 5th generation farm in LaRue County, I've been fighting hard for Kentucky agriculture. I attended the University of Kentucky College of Ag, where I finished my master's degree in agricultural economics while working for Cooperative Extension and the USDA. Since my time at UK, I've had the honor of visiting Pikeville many times over the years, and it's nice to see so many familiar faces in the crowd today. It's also nice to see Representative Heath on the agenda today. We must thank him for what must be his first ever visit to Pikeville. We certainly hope that we see him east of I-75 after the primary. Over the last few days, I've been visiting different Eastern Kentucky communities, and let me tell you, this race is about making sure that Kentuckians can return home to their rural communities. And it's time to elect someone who can make sure that that happens. I know firsthand how hard it is to return to your rural community, and I want to help make sure that there are opportunities for your kids to come home and work in the communities that they grew up in. I had to leave my family farm to gain the career experiences that I needed to benefit my community, and then as your next Ag Commissioner, I will use to benefit the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Whether it's at the farm gate or in the boardroom, I'm the only candidate in this over $1 billion in capital investment for Kentucky's communities and has the experience to build an economy that works for all of Kentucky families. As the next Commissioner of Agriculture, I will be the driver in rolling out medical marijuana and building a sustainable ecosystem around it. We need to get grow operations up and running as quickly as possible while also building a strong market for Kentucky's crops. We can't let what happened to hemp happen to medical marijuana. Under Jamie Comer's watch as Ag Commissioner, wealthy Western Kentucky donors had unfair access to licenses before Eastern Kentucky farmers. Those wealthy Western Kentucky donors then flooded and crashed the market, virtually destroying the future of hemp in Kentucky. Kentucky unfortunately has a history of ag commissioners who mismanage the office, sometimes illegally. And under our current commissioner, there are half as many veterinarians as there needs to be, limiting our ability to respond to emergencies and driving up the cost of household goods like milk and eggs. The office almost lost their ability to certify organic farms in Kentucky. And there's no transparency in how tobacco settlement funds come back to Eastern Kentucky communities. I think it's time for a different Commissioner of Agriculture. The type of ag commissioner who has served and has lived experience as a family farmer, but also understands the business and service sides of the office. As your next ag commissioner, I will drive and build out these important ecosystems for our farmers. I will bring new farmers into the fold, and I will serve our communities, be it through emergency response, fair weights and measures, and organic certifications. I'm asking you all to consider sending a farmer's daughter to Frankfurt because, as you all know, a rooster does all the crowing, but the hen does all of the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Next up is Richard Heath. He's a Republican candidate running for Commissioner of Agriculture. He was raised on a Kentucky farm and has raised corn, soybeans, wheat, and tobacco, and pigs. He earned a master's degree in agriculture from Murray State and managed the Graves County Coup for nearly 2 decades. He has represented Kentucky's farmers in the State House as the chair of the House Agriculture Committee. He is a businessman, community leader, family man, and farmer. Please make welcome Richard Heath, Republican candidate for Commissioner of Agriculture. Thank you.
Well, hello again. It's good to be back with you guys. As he said, my name's Richard Heath. I'm running for Commissioner of Agriculture to be Commissioner of Agriculture. This is not a stepping stone to the next office. So I was raised on a farm there in Graves County with 4 brothers, 4 sisters. I'm number 8 out of the 9 kids. And my parents raised pigs, kids, and corn, and that's how we grew up. After high school, I raised corn, soybeans, wheat, and tobacco, and put myself through college at Murray State University. I could drive over and take morning classes and then come back and get on the tractor and put out a crop, and earned a master's degree in agriculture. After college, I took a pivot and went to the ag business side of agriculture, managing a Graves County co-op store. We were a Southern States dealer there in Mayfield. So I learned things like accounts payable, accounts receivable, how to prepare a budget for a multi-million-dollar company, and how to work with employees and board members. If you think about the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, it is a business with 200 employees and an $86 million budget. So I bring the business expertise to the race. In 2012, I ran for state representative in District 2 there in Graves County, and I'm the first Republican to ever hold that seat. Graves County has always been known as a Democratic stronghold, but that has all changed in recent years. In 2015, Commissioner Quarles and I both ran for this office. We had a really close primary. I got 91,200 votes. He got 92,600 votes. So when you crush the numbers, I only missed it by 0.75%. But Pike County and Eastern Kentucky was good to me. I carried East Kentucky and West Kentucky, and if you're one of the 91,200 people that voted for me in 2015, I'm asking for your vote again, and bring somebody with you this time. In 2017, I became chair of the House Agriculture Committee, which gave me the opportunity to work with Commissioner Quarles for 7 of his 8 years, moving legislation through Frankfurt that affects the agriculture industry. So I feel like I have my finger on the heartbeat of what's going on in Kentucky agriculture. I can pick up and carry on where he left off. I wanted to share with you real quick about House Bill 500. This is a bill that I filed in the House this past session. House Bill 500 would prohibit China, Cuba, Venezuela, and countries that are not friendly to America from buying Kentucky farmland. We got that bill through the House. It went to the Senate. It was assigned to the Senate Agriculture Committee. got 2 readings in the Senate. We had to take a break for the veto days, and when we came back, it just didn't seem to be enough time to get it across the line. There was some concern about unintended consequences. So we'll go back and work on that bill over the interim, and some of my colleagues will bring that back. And as Commissioner of Agriculture, I continue to work to protect our, our Kentucky farmland. I've had the opportunity in some of my time in Frankfort to vote for all the pro-life legislation that has come through, and as a result of that, I've been endorsed by the Pro-Life Kentucky Right to Life Foundation. And in the past, I've been endorsed by the NRA and received the best rating that NRA gives. So I hope I've earned your trust and your support today. And you have the opportunity in this election to vote for youth or vote for experience. And I ask you to vote for me, the candidate with the experience. Thank you.
That concludes our candidates for Commissioner of Agriculture. Also running is Michael Malone and Jonathan Shell. All right, folks, you've made it. That's all the candidates we have for you today. Now the burden shifts from the speakers today to you all out there to go and get the polls and vote. It's the most important civic duty we have, and I'll make sure everyone goes and votes in here in May. Other than that, go get your funnel cake, a cup of coffee, and maybe a Polish sausage. Try to warm up a little. So y'all take care. Thank you all so much for being here.
Buying a home. It's likely the largest purchase you'll ever make. And choosing a bank is one of your most important decisions. Choose wisely. Choose Community Trust Bank to get you home. With over a century of mortgage experience, we're committed to the highest standards of personalized service. For strengths only a community bank can offer, look to Community Trust Bank. Building communities built on trust.
With Gearheart Fiber coming soon to the city of Pikeville, you can work, play, chat, explore at the speed of light. Fiber technology delivers massive data to your home through strands of glass. Perfect for streaming 4K video. Websites load super fast and play games like never before, no matter how many devices are connected. Experience Gearheart Fiber coming soon to the city of Pikeville. Click gearheartfiber.com to find out more.